Episode 24 of Danger My Heart is easily an example of how an anime adaptation can sometimes take the source material to a whole nother level. I absolutely loved what they did with this episode. Again, as usual, I watched the episode itself and then I read the manga to see if there's any differences, and man, the way they played out this episode was significantly different. It gets to the same punchline. It all leads to the same thing. Now, I will say, how it ends is very questionable. Like, the manga does not have Ichikawa go to the girls' room. I'll just say that. So I'm not sure if they're going to do something with that with the next episode, or if they're just going to wrap it up with, oh, well, she got him back out of the room. Nothing really happened. But yeah, he never left the boys' room in the manga. He just literally stayed on the balcony, and then it cuts to the next episode, which I'm assuming is the next episode. I didn't really read any further. Once I seen the scene change, I'm like, nope, stop. Stop right there. But yeah, really, really interesting kind of changes there. The reason why I say that the anime handled this segment a lot better is with the manga, it's very vague as to what's going on with Yamada. With the anime, right off the bat, you hear, oh, she's got an audition, and then she's shocked by the date. That tells you, okay, obviously that date is the audition, or at least you can make that connection. But additionally, in the anime, it's sort of hinting later on with Kobayashi basically, you know, going, crap, she's made this decision, I'm not going to say anything. She doesn't want to mention to Ichikawa what's going on. But the entire time Ichikawa's thinking about this kiss. In the manga, there's this kiss. That's the emphasis that's being done in the anime that sort of clouds Ichikawa's mind until it finally realizes him. Again, I think that's so much better than how in the manga, it seems like everything is kind of being played out. Like it's being very obvious. All the way to the point where it gets to the balcony, he's just kind of upset about the idea that he's essentially taken this from Yamada. There's no question. He just knows. But again, the anime is more emphasizing on the idea of Ichikawa just not getting it. And then at that point realizing, I might be robbing her of something. I've caused this. I know how serious she is about her job, and I'm removing this. And I think that is just a really awesome message. Like, whichever one you actually read or watch, the same message is there, which I think this entire episode encompasses. This idea that Ichikawa, he's so caught up in his head with two things. One, I need to stay away from her because Kankan's doing this thing. Like, they have this whole setup. Like, Hanzawa's like, so you know, she's gonna do this, so you better stay away or you better watch what you do. And I like that she's technically leaving it open to the idea of, unless you're the type that needs that push, then, you know, that seems like it's fine. She's sort of being cautious and helping him because of what happened before with this other students that they got together, they celebrated, and then they broke up. She's being cautious, but she's also leaving the door open to the idea that unless you want that, like, is that what you need? Some people may need that. She's trying to figure it out. But additionally, yes, this inference of this volume. Why does she suddenly have volume 12? That's the big question mark. And it all leads up to that misunderstanding that breaks his heart for her, essentially, which I think is a good thing. But yeah, let's get into it. Jumping in this episode, opening up the episode, like I said, with the whole thing with the summer outfits. She lifts up her skirt and says, feel this. And I'm like thinking to myself, girl, you're so unguarded. Now, I think with most shots, we see that she wears shorts underneath. It's not as if this girl's running around with a breeze down there. This girl does wear shorts, so it keeps it safe. But still, it is technically it's touching base on that. So there's that little question mark there. But yeah, jumping forward, they have, again, in the classroom, there's the inference on the audition and how it's going to be on this date. We're setting up for the whole field trip. And then cutting forward to Ichikawa, again, this is where the confusion starts to kind of spring in his head. This idea that he's thinking about it, he's getting prepared, he's got this whole outside camping thing that he's reading, he's looking into the volume, and then his inner self is obviously going, man, I bet this is the moment. She's probably, you know, fumbling around because of this. Now, we know, again, that she's fumbling around because she has an audition on that day. But over here, Ichikawa in his own head is thinking, oh, that volume. The first kiss in Yamada's favorite manga is during a field trip. So obviously that's probably why she's fumbling around. His own inner self is trying to make him believe and get his hopes up for this idea that he's going to have this romantic kiss with Yamada. That's all he can seem to think about, and he can't seem to fight his own inner self with that mindset. And then he gets a phone call from Yamada, and that sort of cements it, because in that phone call, he sees that same volume. Wait, the one that I have here is yours. Why would you buy another one? Again, in his inner self, unless you're excited for that first field trip and you're trying to relive essentially your favorite manga. But additionally, again, right here, in the manga right here, she says that she has an audition on that day. She makes it clear. That's what I'm doing. But again, in the anime, I like how it keeps that vague. In this moment, he's just trying to figure out what's going on with her. Why is she acting this way? And then suddenly, he goes, yeah, I'm actually going to go. She's decided based on what's around him that he's excited for it. And so thus, this begins the sacrifice that Yamada makes for Ichikawa, which I think is super heartwarming, but at the same time, in conflict with what Ichikawa wants from him. This turns into that dilemma whenever somebody wants to go out of their way for their significant other, somebody that they love, they're going out of their way and they're sacrificing the things that they care for. Ichikawa knows that Yamada's job is important to her, that she's super serious about her job. She likes her job. I like how they technically show that first scene where she gets hit by the basketball, because I think that encompasses it. He's seen in that moment that she takes this really seriously. When she busted her nose, she thought she was letting everyone down. And yes, her mom, her manager, everybody's understanding. They're like, it's fine. It's fine. We'll get another date. We'll do the shoot another date. It's fine. She was tearful because she's letting everyone down. This is something that she's finally found that is good for her and that she's enjoying. And that kind of, again, cements itself even more when you realize what that manga is, what that audition is. It is for literally a position in her favorite source material. Like, she's going to be able to possibly audition to be possibly in an adaptation of something that she loves. This thing that essentially is the first thing that connected her to Ichikawa. This manga is the first thing that I think she was able to connect with him with, because she finally got him to read it, something that she enjoys, and then he reads it, and it's something that she's able to connect with him. Plus, again, they sort of inferred that there's a connection with her in seeing her and Ichikawa in the manga. Like, she sees them in those characters. So, again, everything points to this as something really important to her. But in that moment, right there on the phone with him, seeing that he might possibly be excited for it, no doubt. Give it up. I'm going to this trip because I want to be with him. This is where everything goes downhill, because we cut forward, we go to them driving there, which have this goofy little moment again with Hanzawa kind of warning Ichikawa, cute Yamada kind of sitting, can I kick the seat back? Oh, why not? Are you a kid? Cute little thing there. But then, right after this, what does Ichikawa do? Because of what Hanzawa said, suddenly he's being cautious around Yamada. I have to stay away from her. He's already been doing that. He has this mindset that she's going to be this actress and that any kind of controversy could ruin her career. But in this moment, all he can think about is Kankan. I gotta stay away from Kankan. I gotta stay away from her. Which is in counter to what Yamada wants. Again, why is Yamada here? Because she gave up the audition to be with Ichikawa. And now Ichikawa won't be near her. I almost kind of wish that they emphasized that more, of her trying to be near him, but they didn't really do that. And I think that's kind of the miss in sort of how they changed this adaptation. They should have had her be more pursuing of him, but he's constantly kind of running away. But no, the deer cakes. She slips out of her hand, falls on his backpack, and she's chasing after him. He's running away from all the deer. It was cute. But yeah, we get the little scene with Kobayashi. Again, in the manga, it's much more clear. She's literally saying she had an audition. She skipped out on it. It's her decision. In anime, again, it's keeping a little bit more vague in the idea that he's trying to prod her a little bit, but she won't reveal it. She's like, no, that's not for me to say. And he is kidding. He's picking up on this idea that Yamada kind of entrusts with Kobayashi things that she won't tell anybody else, which makes sense. This is like her closest friend. She's obviously going to confide in Kobayashi a lot more, which we see in the anime. And the idea that, yes, when everybody leaves the bath, she's the one, or Kobayashi's the one that's sitting there with Yamada saying, are you enjoying yourself? Because yes, Kobayashi at this point knows that Yamada skipped out on something very important, to be with Ichikawa. So she's hoping that her friend is enjoying herself, even though there's obviously signs that she's not. And I think that's because she's not with Ichikawa. But yeah, we have the bath scene. I thought she just making things so much more complicated. Dude shows up and talk about how he tried to slip into the girls accidentally, and then shows up there and says, hey guys, let's have a Johnson war, a Johnson contest. Again, I don't think the manga even mentioned Ichikawa in that whole situation. In the manga, it's literally like he shows up, takes it off, and then they have a little battle there, but Ichikawa's not even involved. And then yes, even in the anime later on, he literally comes up and says, man, you did good. Kind of implying this idea Ichikawa kind of stacked down there for his size. But yeah, I'm talking about how, yeah, right now, obviously the girls are all chesting each other. But yeah, we actually do technically. It's funny because they kind of mention the idea that no, that's just a myth. This idea that the girls all kind of chest each other and massage each other. And then it cuts over. It literally has everybody thinking about Yamada's. But it's more of an aspect that everybody's afraid of looking at her because they don't think they should do that for free. The idea that Yamada is this model, they can't be looking at her in the bath like this without paying something. And yeah, sure enough, Kobayashi's there to tally up the score as Boyka does go and look straight at it. But yeah, we get that little brief scene with Kobayashi asking Yamada if she's enjoying herself, and which kind of emphasized later on after Yamada breaks down on the balcony how she's constantly repeating to herself, I'm enjoying myself, I'm enjoying myself. She's trying to convince herself that this is a good choice. And that's, again, something that I've always enjoyed about this series is how it's never really in the head of Yamada, and the idea that we don't get an inner thought process. So we have to kind of see by her actions. And it's obviously showing that through those statements with Kobayashi, through her saying it again on the balcony, she's in inner turmoil. She is conflicted by Ichikawa and this dream role. It's a dream role. She wants that role. It's just her dream. It's literally her dream. And again, like I said, Ichikawa coming out there is significantly different. Like I said, it really does play it out in the idea that when he comes out on that balcony, what he's thinking to himself, and he's conflicted with his inner self, this other self that's talking the entire time. The inner self is literally going, she's obviously bothered because the kiss. That's what it's about. It's the kiss. You're gonna get a kiss. Again, this other self, this portrayal of this character from this manga is Ichikawa's inner self that is constantly thinking about romance. I think he's supposed to be the personification of his other self and his not necessarily just the romance, but it's kind of his inner self and his new confidence, his new self. Whereas again, the other one, the Lucifer one, that's just his libido. Yeah, it's like his inner struggle with himself and what he would want to happen. And his inner self wants it to be, it's gotta be a kiss. This is romance, man. This is your chance. You're gonna get in there. You're like, it's time. Ichikawa, it's time to get that kiss. She's ready for it. Be prepared for it. But in Ichikawa's mind, his other self, his true self, he's saying to himself, no, it's gotta be something else. It's gotta be this audition. But again, it turns into what I think is the bigger message in this episode is Ichikawa realizing, wait, if this is what's going on, it's got to be the audition. And sure enough, we see her down there. She's literally trying out her lines. He goes, crap, it is audition. Look at the phone. Again, the phone wasn't in the manga. The phone with the notification. Oh, she had this role, this audition on that date. She was supposed to be there. But then she's here. Why is she here? Then he thinks about all these moments, and the music starts ramping up. I always love these little cue in the music. Kick the music in. And I think that's probably why they changed everything around, is because they wanted to build up this emotional moment. This realization in Ichikawa, okay, piece everything together. Why didn't I see it? He hates himself for that. Why could I not have seen that? I was too busy thinking about the kiss. I didn't realize what was actually happening. She gave up that role for me. And now he feels bad about it. I feel terrible the fact that I've robbed her of this thing. If that's the case, something's wrong here. And I do like that he has that realization because it shows him two things here. One, what she's willing to sacrifice for me. Two, how important I am to her. How important I am for her and how I missed this. I should have seen this. I know Yamada. He says it to himself. I know Yamada. She's serious about her job. She takes her job seriously. She's more mature than me. And here she is giving that up for me. It's like a gut punch. Ichikawa gut punch. Why did I not see that? Why did I miss that opportunity? Or why is she missing that opportunity for me? So, again, and right here, it goes completely anime original. He rushes out the door in the anime, goes down there. It's kind of implies that he was planning on going down to talk to her. My assumption was that he was going to go around to the front or outside and yell out to the balcony to her. But it seems, which he should have been able to do from the balcony right there, but maybe he didn't want the other guys to hear him, obviously. But I think he was probably going down the room, seeing if he can run into her, and then ends up getting caught. Yamada sees him, covers him up, says that it's Kobayashi, and then the teacher just kind of rushes them over to the bedroom and puts him in there. And then suddenly Kobayashi actually comes in, ducks him out of the sheets. So again, in the anime, completely original. Apparently, Ichikawa was stuck in the girl's room. How are they going to get out? Again, my assumption, because the scene changed in the manga, which I don't know what goes beyond then, it could resolve it. It could be a side chapter, but again, it never showed it. So I don't think it might be a side chapter, but I'm assuming that she just gets him out of there, and then we cut to the next scene. So We'll see, though. It could be a full-on new thing where suddenly they have to wait until, like, my assumption is the best way they can get out of that is probably open the next episode with Yamada having to get on the sheets with him to hide him. He's kind of small, so she could easily kind of hide him underneath her, and then, which would be great. And then maybe when lights go out, okay, time to go, and then sneak him out the room or something like that is my assumption there, but I don't know, they could have something completely original and go into something interesting. I don't know. But either way, super excited to see how this concludes, because what Ichikawa basically says from that point as he's leaving, I need to find out what she really thinks. I need to say something. This is time. Like, it does seem like we could possibly, even though, that, again, I've admitted that it feels like they've basically said, I love you in every way possible, but actually saying it out loud. So it could just be an aspect that we might actually get verbally they say it, but we'll see. Or maybe he'll just ask on our date. I don't know. And hopefully Kankan's nowhere nearby. Hopefully. But yeah, fantastic episode. Like I said, I think the key thing here I want people to know is I know that there's always debates with, source material is better than the anime or whatever. You can't accept that a anime can have a better adaptation than the source material. It was proven to me, I think, solidified with the case of the adaptation of Onimai. But with this one, I can honestly say for me personally, the anime was just above and beyond such a better portrayal of this whole entire segment. So, but it is what it is. It could be just the translation that I got from the manga. It could be different. I don't know. But anyway, that's my thoughts on episode 24. I'm heartbroken that next week is it. I sadly don't see us getting another season, because I know that we're like, 106 or something like that for the manga chapters, and there's only like 140 chapters or so. So, I mean, they could announce another season and then it be a little ways out, or they already know what the final chapters are going to actually be, or at least the later chapters are going to be, so they don't need the manga to be at that point to do an adaptation. Again, they're doing a lot of changes here and there of the anime adaptation anyways, but anyway, I would love another season. I'm just not going to expect it. I'll hope for it. Every time there's a show that I'm enjoying a lot, I'm obviously going to hope that when the season ends, they immediately say, here's another season. Like Apothecary Diaries. Thank you so much. But Apothecary Diaries, Farron, and Danger are my top picks for this season already. So if I can get at least 2 out of 3 announced immediately, I'll be happy. But anyhow, that's my thoughts on episode 24. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, make sure that like button down below, comment, let me know all the episode. Additionally, if you're new to the channel, make sure that subscribe button's got my content. I do these reviews, first impressions, top list. If it's anime, it's pretty much here. Additionally, if you like this content and you want to support the channel more, I have Patreon link, tips link, super thanks membership button down below. Greatly appreciate what it does. Y'all take care.